Hi, welcome to my international sports and sports comedy show. This is episode 6. Well, we're 8 days away from Super Bowl 54 in Miami, and it's going to be between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. But we'll talk lots of Super Bowl coming up. Real quick, let's talk some Aussie Open tennis. Whoa, the other night there was some big upsets. Serena Williams was beaten. She was beaten, so she will still not beat Margaret Court's record of number of Grand Slam victories by a woman. Oh, they're getting into Margaret Court a little bit too. You know what? Let her have her beliefs. This is the trouble now. She's a Christian. There's rumours she might even be a minister at some stage. Let her have her beliefs. Leave her alone. She's a legend. So I've been reading a bit about the legend Aussie tennis player Margaret Court, and Serena Williams has still not beaten her record. And Coco Gauff, the 15-year-old, she continues to win. She beat the US Open champion Osaka. And I wasn't happy with Serena Williams that time. She ripped into the umpire, the referee. I'm on the umpire's side there, and we're going to talk more about refs and umpires in a minute. We are also a day away from Australia Day. January 26th is Australia Day, so it will be Sunday here tomorrow. Parties all over Canada and the US, mainly by the Aussie rules footy teams. And this year is extra special because a lot of them, maybe all of them, are doing fundraisers for the horrific, terrible bushfires in Australia. So that's raising money, and we've got one here at the Pint downtown with the Edmonton Aussie Footy Club. So that's tomorrow and tomorrow night, and there's a live auction. And Holkey and the coach German Rowan, they were on TV this week on Global TV talking about it, and Gareth down there in Calgary was on TV. So get behind the Aussie bushfire fundraisers all over the world. Some very famous people have donated a lot of money as well. So the bushfires are still horrific in Australia. So let's hope for more rain. And awesome that the firefighters from Canada and other parts of the world have gone down to help the horrific bushfires, mainly in New South Wales, Victoria, and my home state of South Australia. Aussie footy, eh? Well, I'm starting a little collection of all my jumpers, jerseys, and one of my listeners on the podcast, just for you American listeners, Marcus, a huge 49er fan, he kind of wanted me to talk a little bit more about some Australia stuff and history in Australia. So I've started a little collection of my Aussie rules footy jumpers. Is the Ottawa Swans jumper that I played for out there in Ottawa. I only played one game though in 2010. Busted my shoulder, busted that. Then I started boundary umpiring, and then I was umpiring for about 2 years out in Ottawa. My Woodville Warriors jersey jumper. So started, I was there the 3 years Russell Ebert was coaching. So it was 88, 89 and 90. And of course the South Gawler Lions played there from when I was under 15s. Then I played in up A grade up to I was about 21 years old. Then I went to Flinders Park for 2 years, then at Woodville, and then back to Gawler South Lions in the Barossa Light and Gawler Football Association. My first team ever was the Hamley Bridge Magpies in Mini League. Flinders Park. Played in Darwin as well for the Waratahs, so that was another red and white team. Played in Vancouver for the Burnaby Eagles. Then I played in Calgary for the Calgary Kangaroos and the Calgary Bears, Ottawa Swans. And I haven't played here in Edmonton, but I have reffed/umpired for the last 5 years. And here is my umpiring jersey here in Edmonton. Now, the reason I'm going to talk a little about this is there was a great show just now on TSN about refs and umpires. And they were saying, why would you want to be a ref or an umpire? It's disgraceful the way the NFL coaches, they rip into the refs in the NFL. You should see them. Pete Carroll and some of these guys, they're up in their face really, really bad. It's not good. Same with hockey. They're in their face. I mean, hey, it's human nature for fans and players to rip in. Well, not the players shouldn't, that's my point. It's human nature for the fans to get rid of their aggression. They got problems in their life, they go to football. Hey, I've done it too, of course I have, but I have a different perspective now after reffing / umpiring for 7 years, Aussie rules footy in Canada. Burnaby Eagles, Vancouver Cougars, it was good out there. Steve-O, my mate in Australia, he was a good player. I played with him. We had a great time out there in Burnaby Eagles. Steve-O's also a big NFL fan, so shout out to Steve-O there in Queensland, Australia. And then a bit in Calgary. I played a bit, but I really started reffing and umpiring most games in Ottawa. A few in BC when I was injured, and now for the past 5 years here at Edmonton. I didn't think I was going to last 5 years umpiring reffing here. I thought, I'll last 3 years, because mainly I wanted to do it just to keep involved. It's you do it, and as they said on this TSN special, the refs and the umpires said it's because you love the game, and that's true. You love the game that you grew up with, and that's why I still do it here. But I want to congratulate all the Edmonton boys and girls because I've lasted 5 years here and I hardly have any trouble. A couple of Aussies get a bit mouthy, but I give it straight back to them, and I can still hang out with them afterwards as well. Unfortunately, that has not been the case in some cities and some places. I'm going to go and tell a little story here because of this TSN special today about refs and why do they do it. I was umpiring in Ottawa. A Toronto team come up, the Rebels. Now, there's some really good fellas on that team, but this day it was disgraceful. Their coach or assistant coach, he's into me all day, eh? All day he's just into me. And he was one of the best players. He would have got 3 votes. No, he didn't. No, he's into me all day. Then near the end of the game, it just got crazy. This guy started yelling at me, saying, I said, what's your problem, mate? Then all the crowd comes in. Strommy was there for the Swans. He's like trying to protect me. This guy from the Rebels was going to basically come over the top and belt me. It got so close. I was so disgusted. There was disrespect. You should always respect any ref or umpire, no matter what league you're playing in. It's disgraceful. There's not enough refs or umpires in sport because of situations like this. I was disgusted. I should have reported him, but I didn't want the trouble. This guy was going to come over and absolutely belt the shit out of me. What, because they lost? This is the trouble. And this is also why, as a ref, I couldn't get as good of friends with people. I had to keep my distance. I went out sometimes with the Ottawa Swans boys and they were awesome. But then other times I had to keep my distance, and I went to one party once and some little shit was into me. I went and told to Strommy. I said, Strommy, I'm out of here, mate. That little shit over there's getting into me because of umpiring. And I just said left, and then Strommy went up and give it to him, mate. So, yes, get rid of your frustrations as fans, but respect the refs and the umpires. I'll continue to umpire here in Edmonton. I will not do another mob, but I will do the internal games here in Edmonton because I stay involved and I love the game of Aussie rules footy. It was my main sport as a kid, right through in Australia. Tennis was number 2. So let's now talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, eh? Super Bowl 54 is coming up next Sunday. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. As I said yesterday morning on Sports Grid, formerly Fantasy Sports Network, with the host Gabriel Morency, Joe Ranieri and Ariel Epstein, I gave my pick. A lot of these media guys been all week too scared to give their pick. I gave my pick. I said, out of it. I'm doing it. Done. Get it out the way. And this here is my formula. As we talked about, this is my formula. My money line margin multi mathematics. I started using this about 6 weeks ago to help me with games that I wasn't sure on. And in Nate's competition in Calgary, out of 73 people, I came 6th. So let's go now to my Super Bowl mathematics. And I briefly described this yesterday on New York TV, but let's go into it more in depth. 49ers at Chiefs. It's in Miami, but Chiefs are the home team. Gut feel. 1 point to the Chiefs. I make up my mind Sunday night, Monday morning, I make up my mind, gut feel, and I very rarely change that. I can only give 1 point, because if I give too many points, then it's going to affect this equation too much. Recent record, doesn't matter. So there's a couple of things I've scrubbed out here, because it's a Super Bowl. Recent record will help me in normal games during the year, so that doesn't come into effect. Home field advantage, nothing there as well. It's a neutral field, Miami. Better quarterback. I have given 14 points to the Chiefs. So now Chiefs are favoured by 15. Patrick Mahomes, I could have given him 21. Patrick Mahomes is a legend. He's the most exciting player since Michael Vick, I believe, to enter the NFL. The guy's amazing. As I said, if he stays fit, I believe the Chiefs will win. He's a legend. Now, the quarterback for the other team, Jimmy Garoppolo, we got to talk a bit about him. He's good. He was a member of 2 of the New England Patriots Super Bowl teams. Even though he didn't play, he was back up to Tom Brady, so he still got the rings. He still got the Super Bowl rings. Anyway, he signed this massive contract a couple of years ago. And 5 years, $137.5 million. He's good. He got injured last year. They had a bad year. Thus, they had a good draft and took Bosa at number 2, I believe. So, Garoppolo's good. But it will be 3 weeks nearly. On Super Bowl Sunday, it will be 3 weeks since he's thrown a lot of passes. He only had 8 pass attempts last week in the game against the Packers. So, is he going to be a bit rusty? Are the receivers going to be a bit rusty? We saw what happens when the Ravens had that week bye and rested their players. They were rusty to start. Even when the Chiefs, when they had the week bye, their receivers dropped balls. Robinson dropped quite a few. So will Garoppolo be rusty after nearly 3 weeks of throwing a lot, as in a full game? But we got to talk a little bit about Jimmy Garoppolo, the porn star dater. He goes out on this date. He got caught. I just watched the video. He goes out on this date with a porn star, Kiara Mia. God, she's got a huge rack. She's not very good. So he goes out after signing this massive contract with a porn star for dinner somewhere there in San Francisco or LA. And he got sprung, eh? And as Kyle Shanahan, the coach, said to him, well, Jimmy, just take it as a learning experience. I mean, you just signed a massive contract. You could get he's a smooth-looking guy. Like, you could get women, and he goes out with a porn star. I don't know what it is with Americans, and they want to go out with a porn star. Why would you want to do that? Go get yourself a nice girl. It's crazy. Anyway, that's a bit about Jimmy G, the quarterback for the 49ers. He's all right. I like both teams. But you got to razz him a bit for getting caught dating a porn star. All right. Item E, injuries. Well, we're not sure yet, so this will be one factor that will change in the next week. Injuries. But I've added an extra thing, especially for the Super Bowl. Players that screw up at Super Bowl. So that's added to the injuries list. What about Barrett Robbins? Who can remember that? That was my first Super Bowl in San Diego. And I did a live report back to Gabe Renzi and Team 990 in Montreal. I got the scoop right there and then. Quickly called the radio station. Gabe was on, so I gave him the scoop about Barrett Robbins. He took off into Tijuana with his wife or girlfriend or whatever. Got lost, didn't get back for training. They suspended him. He didn't play the Super Bowl. And for that reason, Gannon, the quarterback, got sacked a lot because he was the centre guy. So Barrett Robbins screwing up in Super Bowl 36 in San Diego was one of the reasons they lost. The Raiders were favourite over the Bucks. And then, of course, the famous one, Eugene Robinson for the Atlanta Falcons against the Broncos. He'd just been made Man of the Year, NFL Man of the Year, and he got caught soliciting a prostitute. Can you believe that? Craziness. So let's see what happens if any players for either team screw up, and that will have a similar effect on the injuries, item E. Item F, current record, doesn't matter for Super Bowl. Item G, coaching advantage. Very interesting, this one. I am actually going to give 1 point to the 49ers here. You might be shocked. Andy Reid is one of the longest serving coaches that hasn't won a Super Bowl. Last time Andy Reid was at a Super Bowl, I was there too, in Jacksonville. Super Bowl 39 in Jacksonville, as he was a coach of the Eagles when they nearly beat the Patriots. Terrell Owens played on basically a broken ankle, broken leg. He did an amazing job to get back for that game. He played fantastic. Donovan McNabb, it was rumoured that he spewed up in the huddle near the end of the game. There's been a bit of back and forth between those two this week. Terrell Owens was a legend that game, played on a broken ankle. So that was the last time Andy Reid was back at the Super Bowl. He's a good coach. I like him. But he's had a bit of a few mistakes at crucial times. Kyle Shanahan, the new coach of the 49ers, the son of the legend Shanahan Broncos Super Bowl coach. He's fantastic. He did have a major slip-up when he was offensive coordinator for the Falcons when they were up by like 28-3 late in the game against the Patriots only a couple of years ago in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots came back to beat them. So Kyle Shanahan's had a bit of a screw-up then, but I believe he will live and learn from that. So I give a slight advantage to Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers staff over the Chiefs coaching staff. 1 point to the 49ers. Who my favourite NFL people pick? Well, a lot of them have been too scared to say. But as I said yesterday on Sports Grid, the New York show, I believe Brandon Lang, Matthew McConaughey, 2 for the money. So Brandon, who was a guest on the show on Thursday, and that film was made after him. So the real Brandon Lang, I believe he's leaning towards the Chiefs, but he didn't say. I also believe Joe Ranieri, the co-host, is leaning towards the Chiefs. I'm not sure on that. Gabe Renzi is going 49ers. I believe Mike Florio is probably going 49ers. And I believe Chris Sims is going Chiefs. But I might be wrong. Either way, I have who my favourite NFL people pick. I'm going to go +1 on the Chiefs for the people that I respect a lot. So we'll see how we go there. So Chiefs, 15. Winning by 15 at this stage. Weather, not sure yet. This will be one of the other deciding factors. If it rains in Miami, I will give 1 or 2 points advantage to the 49ers. Because the Chiefs, I believe, have a better passing game. And the 49ers have a better running game. So I will give 1 to 2 points to the 49ers if it is raining heavily or consistently at the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning, the legend Peyton Manning, when the Colts played the Saints in the Super Bowl, he was looking at the weather forecast for the whole week, and he said to the coach, hey, we got to start practicing, preparing for the rain. So I believe they practiced with wet balls and so forth, something like that, and it did. It rained a lot when the Colts, they defeated the Bears in the Super Bowl. So rain might have an effect. Turnovers in recent games. Whoa. I gotta give an advantage here to the 49ers. I've given them 2 points here, and maybe more. Because turnovers, they do have a better defense. KC's defense has improved a lot. So don't underestimate the Kansas City Chiefs defense. They stopped Henry running the ball. They got a good defense. Suggs is back there now, the former Raven champ. So don't underestimate the 49ers, the Chiefs defense. But I will give the 49ers 2 points here and maybe more because they got a good pass rush. They do have a good defense. Richard Sherman back there in the back end, he's good. I love it when he gets burnt, though. He got burnt last week. He's all right, but he's a bit mouthy, eh? He's a bit mouthy, but he's all right. So they might have trouble at the other spot next to Sherman. So the Chiefs might go after that spot or even Sherman. Hope they burn Sherman. Chance of mental letdown? Well, there should be none there. It's a Super Bowl, right? And I've added item K. Players with previous Super Bowl experience. Whew. 3 points to the 49ers. They have, I believe, 6 players with Super Bowl experience. And the Chiefs, I believe the only one is Terrell Suggs. We have Sanders, the Broncos legend, wide receiver, formerly of also Pittsburgh Steelers. He was fantastic, one of my favourite Broncos players. Emmanuel Sanders, look for him to have a good game. Coleman, the running back, he's in trouble with a shoulder. He was at the Falcons. Staley, I believe he was probably the only one left over from the 49ers when they lost to the Ravens down there in New Orleans when the power went out. Remember that one? The game got delayed for ages. The power went out. That was crazy. Richard Sherman, of course, the Super Bowl champ for the Seattle Seahawks, and also losing when they lost to the Patriots. Gold, the kicker. Is he kicker, punter, kicker, Gold, and Jimmy Garoppolo, even though he didn't get on the field. We'll give Jimmy the porn star data Garoppolo. So I believe there's 6 players with Super Bowl experience for the 49ers and 1 for the Chiefs. So all that said, I have come up with the Chiefs at this stage by 10 points. Yep, everyone's saying it's going to be close. It might be. I might be way off. Chiefs, I've said here by 10 with at this stage a margin. So I'm going Chiefs 7 to 10. Big condition. And I have to wear this because it could happen. If the 49ers injure Patrick Mahomes at all, I believe the 49ers will win. Now, I'm not going to sit back here next Sunday night if the 49ers win and say, oh, yeah, but I said. No, I'm going Chiefs, but I firmly believe they'll lose if the 49ers get to Patrick Mahomes. But hey, that's what you do with your picks, and that's what you got to say. Things will vary up a little bit over the week. There'll be lots more coverage, and look forward to the Super Bowl. Talk a bit more later, but Gold, Robbie Gold, eh? He's listed here as a kicker and a punter. Is that right? Kicker and punter? Maybe I'm wrong. No, let's go here. Let's go here. It's the Chiefs guy that's listed as a kicker and punter. So I want to tell a little story here. Dustin Colquitt. He's listed as the punter, the backup kicker, and the holder. The holder holds the ball for the extra points. So, something that really freaked me out a few years ago, and they continue to diss Tony Romo on this. Tony Romo was starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He won the job, and then late that year, in a crucial play, he had to also be the holder. So he had to grab the ball from the long snapper, stick it down like that and hold it while the kicker came through and kicked the extra point. I could not understand that. A quarterback is the most difficult position in sport, and they still had Romo holding for the kicks, for the field kicks, for the field goals, extra points. What the hell is that? Give me 2 days and I will get that nearly down pat. Give me a week and I won't be far off. Give me a month and I'm sure I'm NFL standard. What, the ball comes in, you catch it, you go like that? What? Why would you have the main quarterback that has got so much on his mind to concentrate? Why would you still have the main quarterback, the holder? I never got that, and I'll stick up for Romo, who is about to earn a huge contract commentating. He might be going to ESPN from CBS. I hope not. He's so good. Last week, he spotted that there was a 12th man on the field, and the refs didn't even spot it. And then I believe the NFL guy in charge called the refs and said, hey, what are you doing? Romo, the commentator, spotted there was 12 men on the field, and you guys didn't even see it. Romo is a fantastic commentator. Fantastic. So good on him for about to make a lot of money. Alright, so let's now go to the legend himself, Tom Brady. We're here for Media Day, Super Bowl XXXVIII, the New England Patriots, the tip for the Super Bowl. I'm going for them. As you can see, the magnificent brand new Reliance Stadium here in Houston. We'll go down and we'll interview a few of the star New England Patriots players, Super Bowl XXXVI champions from 2 years ago.
So I was, I remember taking my pads off, and I was like, I'm just going to lay down here for a little bit. Next thing you know, I woke up about 20 minutes later. It's kind of nice.
You do the same thing this time around?
Well, with how much time we have, with about an hour, I think that's a long national anthem. There's a, they put a lot into the entertainment and getting people to watch and getting people entertained. So we'll be in there. I'm not going to enjoy it very much. I'm going to be laying in that locker room trying to relax a little bit.
What did you do? Find a corner and just went to sleep?
I think it was right in front of my locker. I think some other guys were laying around too. I remember Drew was laying next to me, and everyone's just trying to find ways to get off your feet, because you get out there and you warm up and you're sweaty and you feel like the adrenaline's starting to pump, and then you don't want to go out there and peak in the locker room. You want to peak when you come out for to kick the ball off.
Can you sleep the night before?
That's usually the best night you get, because you feel like you're prepared, you feel like you've done everything you can, you feel like I'm ready to go, and you're just anxious for the game to get there. I always think, when you're in college, you can't wait to get out of college, so you got more free time. And once you get out of college, all this responsibility comes. You're out on your own, you're living by yourself, you're paying your own bills, you're buying your own groceries, you're cleaning your own house, doing your lawn. All these things that come about. And then, 2 years ago, a whole bunch of other stuff was thrust upon me. And I don't think I was too prepared for it because I never had to deal with it before. And I really couldn't anticipate how to deal with it. So, I find myself, not going out, sitting in my house all day, not really, just always trying to, a lot of times you just didn't become very comfortable. Didn't have comfortable going out. I didn't know how to say no to someone. So I'd go out and I just feel like, you're getting dodging bullets all day. People following you home from your house. How do you deal with that? Do you go home and feel like you're a victim in your own house, or do you find different ways to go home, or find different, ways to get to your house? I think that was really important last year. I remember always being, after you did it the first time, I was like, God, I don't think he can do it again. It was a fluke. And then, that's kind of where your pride comes in and really motivates you. So, last year was better than I thought 2 years ago. And I learned some things. This year is better than last year. And as a quarterback, you're always trying to improve. You're always trying to pick things out. You have coaches that say, you got to work on this, and you got to work on maybe your footwork or hold on to the ball better. I think this year is probably, the best of the 3 years, but there's still a long ways to go.
Well, it's mayhem, as you can imagine, trying to get a question in with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Super Bowl
at first I did, but then,
MVP, met him
I got there and I got to the reception.
He's a legend,
and then,
absolute legend.
I started meeting some of the other people that were, wow, how long have I been up here?
About an hour. 6 hours.
Is it been that long?
Beyonce or Janet Jackson, Tom?
Oh, jeez.
So that was a different time.
Oh, they're both pretty good, huh? They're both beautiful.
Tom, would you be tempted at halftime to maybe sneak out and see Janet play?
Well, yeah, we get to see Beyonce, don't we?
Yeah.
We get to see her for the national anthem. So we'll see Beyonce. They're both beautiful.
All right, well, hope you enjoyed that interview with Tom Brady, the legend at Super Bowl XXXVIII in Houston Media Day. I'm sure he's a bit of a legend with the ladies back then as well. And he's obviously, as we know, married many, many years to Giselle, the famous supermodel. He's got kids. They've sold their house, I believe, in the Boston area. So where will he be next year? I'm thinking the Patriots, but you never know. You never know what he's up to. Talking about cool women in America, well, I call them quoas. Cool women of America. Marcus, my mate here in Edmonton, the 49ers fan, he wanted me to talk about a bit more Aussie lingo. So we got quoas, cool women of America. That's a name. I made it up. But this all started because Australia, we call hot women Aussie birds. We call them birds. I'm not sure. Maybe because good-looking women are just like birds. Birds are beautiful, colourful, and beautiful little creatures. I presume that's why we call Aussie hot women birds. And then I made up the clocks, cool women of Canada, as I talked about in episode 4, my first full-length podcast for you Americans that you can listen to on Castbox, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. So yeah, quoas, cool women of America, and as I said before, I have love for both teams this Super Bowl. Obviously, huge Broncos fan. I have several second teams. 49ers is one of them. I don't dislike the Chiefs like I should as a Broncos fan. They're in our division. But I always enjoyed hanging out with Tony Gonzalez next to him at the Pro Bowls. I believe he was there the 3 years that I was on the sidelines at the Pro Bowls in the early 2000s. I interviewed Rose, the Chiefs cheerleader. She goes, "Oh yes, I'm red like a rose," and she was in red Chiefs outfit. Got another story about someone from Kansas City, but we might leave that one to later. Good story about a koala. And then we have the 49ers. Well, my time in San Francisco, it was funny. My first time ever there was with Paddy Carpenter and another lad. Paddy Carpenter played at West Torrens Eagles in the SANFL, played some reserves games, and then he played at New York Tigers in the Brosselite and Gawler Football Association. So he was heading over to the US with his mate, and I was just starting my tour, my month tour, before I ended up in Colorado. So we're in San Francisco, eh? This is funny, eh? This is funny. So this is, 25 years ago? And San Francisco, Sydney and Vancouver was known to have quite a large gay population. So we're downtown San Francisco, and Paddy Carpenter had a turtle. He needed to go to the toilet, eh? So he goes in this big department store, and he goes and has a crap. He has a shit. Well, we're sitting in the car, me and his mate, and Paddy comes out and he's shaking and he's all pissed off. We go, what's wrong, mate? He goes, I was in there having a shit, and there's some guy looking up underneath at me. Like this guy was trying to pick up another fella in the toilet, and Paddy's just gone, oh no, and he comes out and he's absolutely shitting himself. Well, me and his mate, we just started howling, laughing, eh? And Paddy Carpenter was getting chatted up by a guy in a men's toilet washroom. I'm not allowed to say that word. A men's toilet in San Francisco. Funny story. We laughed our head off. Also, we hung out with these two kind of rock stars. Craig Lambert, my Woodville Warriors mate, he set us up with a couple of lads he was mates with. So they took us out, eh? So they roll up at our hotel, and one of us holding a big bloody ghetto blast of music. They had really long hair. They're like rock stars. I said, where are we going tonight, boys? And, we were keen to meet some women. And he goes, we're going out to this strip bar way out near Oakland somewhere. I said, let's just go to a normal club. He goes, no, you got to hang out with the strippers. I said, why is that? He goes, well, there's a lot of gay guys in San Francisco, so guys like us, we do really well with the strippers. I'm going, oh, really? So we go out to this strip bar somewhere out near Oakland, and these boys, seriously, they were banging the strippers. It was unbelievable. We didn't see it, but we knew they were, so we had a good night in San Francisco. Also, I've been there with Autodesk, the fourth largest software company in the world. When I lived in Australia, I went there on a work conference in San Fran, Silicon Valley. So I've been there a couple of times. Also did the tour of Rottnest Island. Not Rottnest Island. God, I'm getting mixed up there. The tour of Alcatraz, the jail, the movie Escape from Alcatraz. We did that tour with Paddy and his mate. That was fantastic. You're going through the jail and they give you these headsets and you hear all the sound of from back in the day with all the prisoners in Alcatraz. So yes, we escaped Alcatraz. We got out of there, back on the boat to the fishing area, the harbour of San Francisco. I've also done another trip through there when I sat and did a tour of the old stadium, the old famous stadium there in San Francisco, and they have a beautiful new stadium now the last few years. So yeah, good memories of San Fran, had some good times, good place to visit. And I believe the US Nationals of Aussie Rules Football was meant to be there this year, but unfortunately they changed it to LA. So the Edmonton boys were keen to go if it was in San Fran. I'm not sure if they're going now. It's in LA. So good times, good experiences in San Fran, and a couple of funny stories. Let's go now to an Aussie lingo segment. This annoys me, eh? When I first come here, and still now, people come up to me and say, hey, the dingo ate my baby. I go, what the hell? The dingo never ate the baby. She killed it. The mother killed it. Apparently, allegedly, maybe not, but most definitely, maybe. Oh, so there was a movie made with Azaria Chamberlain and Lindy Chamberlain, how this baby was apparently eaten by a dingo out from Ayers Rock, probably 35 years ago. Well, they made the movie in America, and this famous saying come out, the dingo ate my baby. I go, no, the mother probably killed it. Anyway, Lindy went to jail. Massive amounts of money it cost the Australian government. Finally, she got a pardon by the Australian government, so who knows? I believe still the court was correct in convicting her? Maybe we'll never ever know, but the saying, "the dingo ate my baby," drives me nuts. Another one, throw another shrimp on the barbie. Who come up with that? That's not really an Aussie saying. Well, it never used to be. Maybe it is a bit now because all the Americans say it, but it's not. It's marketing. I don't know who did it. Bit like Foster's. Foster's is hardly drank in Australia, but they did great marketing back in the day. Foster's beer, good on them. All over America, all over the UK, but hardly anyone drinks Foster's in Australia. So there's a few Aussie sayings. Some are good, some annoy me. The Aussie birds is a good one, and I made up the crocodiles, the quocks, the cool women of Canada, and the quoas, the cool women of America, and the cheerleaders still a part of the NFL. All right, let's run through a few players in this Super Bowl 54. Chiefs, Tyreek Hill, amazing wide receiver. Demarcus Robinson, number 2 wide receiver. He dropped a few balls, so hopefully he can catch them. Travis Kelce, the tight end, a great player for the Chiefs. He will be key. He even had a TV show. He was like a Bachelor type star, sort of, in his own TV show a few years ago. Sammy Watkins, the former Buffalo Bill, and I believe Rams as well. He's a good wide receiver, so watch for him. Watch for him, and that could be a good prop bet. Take Sammy Watkins on the over passing yards. I believe it's around 50 or something like that. That could be a good prop bet. Patrick Mahomes, of course, the quarterback, the star, the most exciting player in the NFL, who could go down as one of the greatest ever players. He is at odds of... he is odds of plus 100 for MVP, so you're going to double your money if you get Patrick Mahomes at MVP. Backup Matt Moore played well when Mahomes was injured earlier in the year. Mahomes did his leg for a few weeks. Matt Moore came in and played well. Third string Chad Henne, who's been around the NFL for quite a while. Running back Damian Williams, number 1. LaShawn McCoy, number 2. LaShawn McCoy, eh? The former Buffalo Bill and Philadelphia Eagle. Yeah, I'm not that keen on him. He arranged this party where it was basically going to be kind of like an orgy. The NFL kind of told him, hey, calm it down, mate, calm it down. Yeah, don't put it in our face, buddy. Defense, Terrell Suggs, the former Raven legend, who was then at the Cardinals and released, or they made a trade, and he ended up at the Chiefs. They thought he might have gone back to the Ravens. Who else we got here? Morris Claiborne in defense. He was at the Cowboys for a while. And then the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. Very good college footballer. Got drafted high. And he has a name, Honey Badger. I think it's something to do with weed or marijuana. I'm not sure. I tried to Google that, but he's a very good defender. Dustin Colquitt, like I said, punter. And then again, we got Tyreek Hill on special teams. Watch this guy. He's lightning quick. He was Olympic speed runner at college, Tyreek Hill. He's been in a bit of trouble. Bit of trouble with domestic, but we'll keep away from that. All right, let's go to the 49ers. Joe Staley. I believe he's the only one from the 49ers lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl a few years ago. George Kittle, tight end, along with Kelce, 2 of the best tight ends in the game. Maybe we give it slightly to Kittle. He is tough. He is tough. And he was a late round draft pick. What a steal by John Lynch and Shanahan to get George Kittle as a 5th or 6th maybe draft pick. Wide receivers, the champ Emmanuel Sanders, the Super Bowl legend. Broncos Super Bowl 50, as you can see up there, Peyton Manning. Well, Emmanuel Sanders was part of that. He got a bit frustrated earlier this year at the Broncos. You could tell he wanted a trade, and he has benefited greatly. Great pickup by the 49ers. It was believed that the 49ers were after Sanu, who then went to the Patriots and didn't do much, and they got Sanders instead. Great pickup. More great work by John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, the former Broncos. And then the running backs, eh? We have Raheem Mostert. Sounds like Mozart. He had been on 6 NFL teams, cut many a time. Scored 4 touchdowns last weekend against the Packers. Fantastic. Amazing number of running yards, 4 touchdowns. Great story to see someone that has persisted and on his 6th NFL team after being cut many a time. Fantastic story. Tevin Coleman, running back as well, injured shoulder, and Matt Breida. So they got some good running backs there at the 49ers that will probably vary it up. So there could be a good variation in the running game by the 49ers. And here we go. One of my favourite names in football. Well, first of all, we better talk about this quarterback number 1. Is Jimmy Garoppolo, the porn star dater. Third string. CJ Beathard. True story, here we go. CJ Beathard. They pronounce it Bethard. Or to me, it's Beathard. Beathard. I laugh my head off when I see his name on the back of his jersey. It's Beathard. Joking the chicken. Feeding the chooks. Having a pull. CJ Beathard. That I call CJ Beathard. Alright, better move on. Defense, Nick Bosa. Oh, what a fantastic player. Fantastic player. His brother's there at the Chargers. And then he got drafted number 2 overall this year. Fantastic player. Watch him to try to get to Mahomes. That's going to be one of the battles of the Super Bowl. If Bosa can get to Mahomes and hurt him, 49ers will win. Now, this is what annoys me with some of these NFL players. They drive me nuts. In Australian rules football, when I played, you try and take a player out fairly within the rules. And if you do that, if you injure a player, especially if it's a star player, and you have done it fairly within the rules, all your teammates will be high-fiving you, congratulating you like crazy. One of the guys I play with at South Gawler, a former Central District's Malcolm Mullet McGrath, he was amazing. He knew how to hip and shoulder and take out a player fairly. Some people thought he was dirty. Nah, he wasn't really. He was a good, hard player that would take someone out of the game with a decent hip and shoulder, a really strong tackle. So these NFL players that get on TV and radio, they go, oh, we didn't mean to hurt him. Oh, we didn't mean to hurt him. Of course you did. And it's okay to say that you meant to hurt him because you hurt him within the rules. So the 49ers players, go for it. Go hard. Try and hurt Mahomes within the rules. Keep the helmets away. You try and get him in the legs, in the shoulder within the rules, and that could win you a Super Bowl. So these players that, we didn't mean to hurt him, you drive me nuts. More star players. Richard Sherman, we talked about before, Super Bowl champion with the Seahawks. He'll be mouthing off all week. He'll be making it about him. But as Gabe Morency said yesterday, he does it smart. He does it all about him, so then all the other players can just go about and take it easy and not have any attention on them. We'll see what happens this week, whether it's Richard Mouthpiece Sherman again. He's all right. Don't mind him. There's some of the players. The odds, Chiefs favoured by about 1.5. You might as well make it a pick'em. I put some money on the Chiefs winning 7-12, gives you plus 550. You take them between 1 and 6, plus 350. MVP, Mahomes, plus 100. Jimmy the Pornstar Data, Garoppolo, plus 250. Mozart, plus 700, the star running back. Tyreek Hill, plus 1400. Kelsey, plus 1400. Kittle, plus 1400. Boza, plus 2000. Williams, plus 1600. There are a few of the bets in the Super Bowl. The under-over is 54. I do like the over. I think it will be a high-scoring game. But, hey, it could be a battle of defenses as well. So we never know. And that's why this Super Bowl could be one of the greatest. As I said again, I'm going for the Chiefs to win. 49ers get to Mahomes. It's their win, I believe. Have a great Super Bowl. Enjoy. Have plenty of beers. Go to work next day. Don't drink and drive. And love it. So this is my 6th edition of the Mick Aussie International Sports and Sports Comedy Show, brought to you by MickAussie.tv, TotalCFL.com, and hope you can watch and listen to me Friday mornings about 9:30ish Eastern Canada USA time on Sports Grid, formerly the Fantasy Sports Network. Over and out. Have a great Super Bowl. Have a great week. Enjoy the Australian Open. Enjoy whatever you're doing. And hopefully you can enjoy Australia Day, Sunday, January 26th. Over and out.